Greetings animation fans, and welcome back to a brand new video. And boys, today I got some exciting news. Pixar is back, baby. I know. Right? Exciting stuff. Which is what I would be saying if I was a trend-following sheep. Which I'm not. You all disgust me. I spit on you. I'm spitting on the hundreds of people that just love to clickbait. The clickbaiters that just can't resist the urge to stick their heads into every little fandom and go, guys, I think Marvel actually might be back. Dude, DC might actually be making a comeback. Guys, Pixar might be back at the top. Like, shut up, man.
Shut up! Oh my god, I don't care!
Genuinely, I'm so sorry I brought this up, but like, I'm just so annoyed when people say this. Like, what do you mean Pixar's back? They didn't go anywhere. Like, are we forgetting that they made Inside Out 2 like 2 years ago? Wait, 2 years ago? Jesus Christ, my life is slipping away. It's not even like they've been making slop. Like, pretty much all the movies over the last couple of years they've made have been good, except for Lightyear. We never forget. But you know what? I get it. I know. We all want that golden era of Pixar to come back. But can we just appreciate that they're still attempting to make original films and not just making sequels to all their other movies? Well, I mean yet. Like, can we just savor this moment? Because even though they're not all bangers, at least they try, and happily I think that can take us into the point of this video, as Pixar has made a brand new movie, and personally, I think it's a banger. I think we got a banger on our hands, and it's a little film called Hoppers, directed by Daniel Chung, and it's the same man behind We Bare Bears. And in this film, we follow a young animal lover and nature fanatic named Mabel, who discovers a new top-secret technology that allows her to hop into the body of a robotic beaver. From there, she discovers secrets about the animal world while also trying to start a revolution against humankind, as the mayor of the town wants to create a new highway which would lead to destruction of their forest home. That's all I'm going to say without spoiling anything, but let's just hop right into it. You get it? You get what I did there? I'm going to stop now. But anyways, going back to my beginning thoughts on new Pixar, I don't necessarily feel like Pixar has really lost their magic. Like, have some of their movies only been okay as of recently? Yes. Does that mean they're incapable of making good films? No. Because the truth of the matter is, they've made films that I've liked in the past that aren't necessarily to the top standard of what Pixar used to do, but they're still good nonetheless. Films like Luca, Soul, and you know what? I even like Elemental. I know a lot of people don't like that movie. I like that movie. And when I saw the trailer for Hoppers, I ain't gonna lie, I had hoped that this would be a return to form to the glory days for Pixar. And lo and behold, here we are. And call me Houdini, I was right. Mostly. Because I ain't gonna lie, I've never quite thought Pixar would make a movie like this, to be honest. It feels very distinct, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, from basically anything they've made in the past. And honestly, for that matter alone, I actually really appreciate this movie. But this film's all around got some great stuff in it that, honestly, I can't wait to talk about. But before I do, and I'll keep it quick, because I know everyone freaking hates these segments, if you like this video so far, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you're new. And as a bonus, comment down below your favorite Pixar film. You know, the first thing I love about this movie is that, low-key, it's one of the craziest and most absurdly dark Pixar movies ever made. Like, no exaggeration, this movie by the third act kind of gets insane. And when I mean insane, it literally has some shit, like, unironically that might scare young children. And I gotta say, I freaking loved it, man, honestly. It's honestly one of those films that over time honestly gets a lot better the longer it goes on. As when it starts, you get a pretty familiar story, all things considered, about the importance of protecting wildlife. But slowly it evolves into more of a story about coexistence, and that we're all in this together, and that life isn't so black and white, and people aren't just bad for the sake of being bad. Mixed with a touch of David Cronenberg's The Fly. No, I'm not joking. And to some, that may ruin the experience for them, as it is sort of out of left field on the surface, and more out of tone than anything. But personally, I don't necessarily agree with that point, as this film is constantly building to a boiling point, but everything leading up to that moment honestly makes sense. And in my opinion, at least, it makes sense how the film would kind of end this way or get to this point, so it doesn't really bug me, to be completely honest. And plus, I know this is gonna sound like the most broken record of thing. It's just fun, man. Like, we get introduced to this new character voiced by Dave Franco. Oh my god, pure comedic gold. Like, I was dying every single time this guy said anything. Like, it was amazing. Like, he may actually be one of my favorite Pixar villains, from enjoyability at least. Such a fun character. And speaking of comedic gold, this whole movie is honestly quite hilarious. There's a lot of really great jokes in here, and scenes that have me with the biggest grin on my face. And the characters are all just so likable and charming, to be honest. Although, I do want to say, this fucking lizard. This fucking lizard. It has managed to sneak its way into all of the marketing, and after watching this movie, I have no idea how. Like, he's literally in the movie for less than 5 minutes. I've never really believed in the idea of quote-unquote an industry plant character, but after this movie, yeah, I kind of believe it. Like, what the fuck? This guy's got his own Fortnite skin. Like, just, what? Not saying he's not funny, because I'd be lying to say if he wasn't funny, because he has a couple funny points, and he's definitely a very memorable character for his little screen time that he has, but he wasn't even personally my favorite character. That honor would go to King George, voiced by Bobby Mionin. What a fun character, and just straight up a wholesome character. I love good old wholesome characters. Just throughout the movie, he's just this super friendly, ultra positive beaver who just sees the good in everyone, and I just loved him. And I especially loved his relationship with Mabel, as you get these two characters with immensely different viewpoints on the world, and when they interact, it makes the emotional cues and the message of the story just 10 times more effective. Not to mention, he just has one of the best moments in the movie, to be honest, that had me kind of dying.
Ugh, there's just this noise. It sounds like,
I also just appreciate the simplicity of this film, as it's a nice change of pace, especially compared to Pixar's other most recent films, where they're more concerned with telling a story that doesn't necessarily appeal to everyone, per se, and that's fine. Like, I want to say that right now. It is completely okay to want to tell stories that may not appeal to everyone. But Hoppers goes back to those old relatable Pixar ideas, like, what if your toys could talk? What if there were monsters in your closet? What if you could really see what was going inside your head? And in this film, it's no different, because we've all wondered what animals are really saying, so it appeals to that general demographic, which is also why I feel this movie is doing so well. And I think it's a lot more relatable than wondering what it would be like to own a Vespa, which I can't imagine is that exciting, but what do I know? But even though it doesn't really hold a candle to some of their other movies, it's still a fun movie, it's still a good movie, but it's just not as good as the golden age of Pixar. And I'm glad it's making a lot of money, especially for an original IP, because that's not necessarily a very common thing. Take Elio for an example, that bombed tremendously, but this film is just doing really well, honestly, and I'm super glad. But going into the rankings here for Hoppers, I'm going to give it an extremely solid and well-deserved 8.5 out of 10 critically, while from the casual point of view, I honestly came really close to giving this a 10 out of 10, but I think I'm more leaning towards a 9 out of 10. There's just so much to like about this movie, from the humor to the characters and the story, and frankly, I think that modern audiences are really gonna go crazy for this movie. And for a tagline, I gotta say, Hoppers is nothing short of the wildest, darkest, and most hilarious side of the forest. And that brings us to the end of the review. I just gotta thank you all for sticking around till the end here and enjoying the video, hopefully. And if you like this video and want to show your support, why not drop a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the channel's newest videos. But until next time, friends, I'll see you later.